What's good? What's good? I am back. One and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. We have a special guest we're about to bring on. They just popped up. I don't see their camera just yet. And it is fight night, fight week this week. Of course, you got the Jersey card with Perry versus Jeremy Stevens. Give it one more second to come back in. I didn't see the camera pop up. So definitely gonna be an interesting card. Can't wait. You got the Queen of Violence and the King of Violence titles on the line. All right. So there we go. We got our guest. We about to bring her on. She originally started in boxing and MMA, what it looks like, and now she's moving into bare knuckle BKFC. She will be making a debut, BKFC Fight Night, Hammond, Henry versus Lindsay, October 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time at the Horseshoe Casino in Hammond, Indiana. Let's bring on bare knuckle Brooke Evans. Brooke, how you
Hello.
doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's the weather out there?
Actually, it was really pretty today. It was nice out.
Yeah,
It was kind of hot.
we got some of that hurricane rain out here on the East Coast in North Carolina.
Okay, is that where you're at, North Carolina?
Yeah, Fayetteville, also known as Fort Bragg.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'm over here in Kentucky.
So before we get into your fight, I want to ask you a few questions just to get to know you. So you started in boxing and MMA, it looks like. So what first drew you into combat sports?
I played a lot of sports and stuff in middle school and high school and all that. So then when I graduated high school, it looked like something to try, I guess. I was watching like a Rocky movie. I was like, that looks like
Okay.
fun. I had through all the sports I played, I was always kind of like a tomboy and I was pretty rough and very aggressive. And so I knew I had it in me to fight and stuff. So I wanted to look into it and see what it was all about. And then once I got involved with it, like I realized how much there was to it, and all the technique and all that. And
Hmm.
I fell in love with it. I really did because it was so challenging.
So I saw an interview where you were talking about your struggles with addiction and recovery. How has fighting helped shape, I guess, your comeback story?
It has definitely given me, because I think it's important, like when you're getting sober or you're trying to get sober. Of course, you do like all these meetings and stuff like that, and you're really
Mhm.
filled a lot with recovery. But I think it's important to find stuff that you enjoy and that like you love to do, And when I got out of jail, I had taken like, geez, I don't know, maybe close to 10 years, 9 or 10 years off from fighting or really doing anything productive in my life whatsoever. So, when I got out of jail, I was like, well, I want to get back into that, maybe have a fight or something. At that time, I was still amateur. And man, it's helped a lot. It's given me, like I said, it's a really good outlet for me. It gives me a hobby to keep me occupied. I'm somebody that like I'm really goal oriented. So like boxing
Mhm.
allows me to have all those goals, especially fighting. Like right now, being in fight camp, I love this stuff. Like I'm very goal oriented and schedule and accountability and all of that. So all that helps with my sobriety 100%. Not to mention the little edge that fighting has. And especially now that I'm going to be doing this bare knuckle and all that, I love that adrenaline and I love that aspect of it. It kind of feeds that part of me also. So it
So I
does a
went
lot.
on YouTube, looked up some of your fights. I saw MMA fight versus Anna Abrams.
Oh yeah,
Another
that was
then
forever
you
ago.
then you had a fight versus Edna Turner. From what I could see, you were very quick. You constantly moving. You were aggressive. Is your bare knuckle fight style going to be similar to that?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. As far as like constantly moving and stuff, that's just a given because it's hard to hit a moving target.
Hmm.
My coach is big about that constantly moving and walking and that controlling. So I don't see why that would be any different, especially considering it's bare knuckle. I feel like with it being bare knuckle, my defense will be like, you know, really great. Because you don't want to risk getting hit with stupid crap. In boxing, sometimes you can take a little jab, take a little this or that to maybe get inside. But with
Yeah.
the bare knuckle aspect, I feel like I want to really be, crossing my T's and dot my I's and making sure I'm doing a good job with my defense.
So you decided to make this move from, I guess you were boxing before bare knuckle.
Yeah.
Okay, so you decided to make this move. Why did you decide to get into bare knuckle, and how the opportunity come about?
Okay. So yeah, I wasn't necessarily looking to like turn to or to do the bare knuckle thing necessarily. I definitely watched it and stuff.
Mhm,
And it wasn't necessarily on my radar. I was just trying to kind of make my way with my pro boxing stuff. Um, but I was like struggling a little bit because I didn't have some, big promoter. I didn't have, I wasn't signed with any, big managers or nothing like that. So I was
uh-huh.
really doing everything on my own.
Okay.
And all I was looking for was really a cool experience, like with the boxing, even if I could have got something on Top Rank or something like that, you know.
Mhm,
Um, and so then when they reached out to me, Tyler Paul reached out to me and asked if I was interested in the BKFC. And like I've said it before, like I didn't necessarily believe him at first because I'm like, what? I've only had these pro fights. I'm not, in my mind, I'm like, I'm nothing super special, whatever. But I guess they were just kind of trying to bring females in and get more women.
mhm.
So he ended up setting up a phone call with David Feldman, and I got to talk and kind of talk about what it was going to look like if I did it and all of that. So it was a amazing opportunity that got offered to me. So I would have been crazy not to take it. Especially I'm 38. I'm not getting any younger.
You got a
So
multi-fight deal, if I'm not mistaken?
yeah, 3 fight deal.
Okay, that's good, that's good. So what have been the biggest adjustments you've had to make in training from boxing to bare knuckle fighting?
Did you say what's the biggest adjustment?
Yeah, in the training of boxing, and now you're doing bare knuckle.
Um, Honestly, probably just stuff in the clinch. How
Okay.
you can like you know what I mean? You can hold somebody's head and you can throw off that. But the funny thing is, people that spar me and my sparring partners know I can be a little bit of a dirty boxer anyway. So I already had a little bit of that in me, and I've been in street fights and stuff before. So it ain't nothing for me to grab the hold of somebody's head and throw punches. So once I got to go that was going to be something I was allowed to do, I'm like, bet. I was like, I got this. So I've been playing around a lot with that and, being able to grab somebody's head, throw punches. Working on my defense if somebody's got me in the clinch, what does that look like? What do I need to do? Really, that's
Yeah.
probably the biggest adjustment because everything else is the same, really.
Yeah, except the clinch, because the clinch is definitely a lot different in bare knuckle than boxing. Because usually when they clinch in boxing, they always break it up. But bare knuckle, as long as it's active, they'll keep it going. And the clinch could be for offensive purposes or defensive purposes. Somebody's, you taking some shots, you want to try to clinch and see if you can get it stopped a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
So you going into your first bare knuckle fight. How do you usually handle like nerves and adrenaline going into a fight?
Um, I feel like so right now I got about 3 weeks, right? It
Mhm.
goes in waves. I mean, when I first signed with BKFC, I got some nerves going on because I'm like, oh wow, this is crazy. And then when I get my fight deal, I'm like, or when I get this fight that was coming up, I'm like, oh shit, it's happening. So it's like like little stages, but I got about 3 weeks right now, so I feel good. The week of my fight, I'll probably be a little bit neurotic, like cleaning the crap out of my house and doing random things like that. Because there's all this like fear of the unknown, okay,
Yeah.
with it being a debut and a fight and so many things that are out of my control. So I'll like hyper fixate, like organizing, cleaning, doing stuff around my apartment. I did that for my pro debut. The day of my fight, I was like cleaning my whole kitchen and and stuff that morning. It was funny, but anyway, but I'll be leaving a couple of days before my actual fight, so I'm just gonna chill. I usually just try to relax. I try to laugh a lot. We try to joke around. My coach and my friends that go with me. I bring my friend Grace. She'll be there. My friend Hannah. So we all just kind of, I try not to like hyper fixate on it.
What do your friends think about you about to bare knuckle fight.
They're all like super supportive.
Yeah.
They're all about it. I have a lot of people that are going to be there, which is awesome. People I have worked with, people I've been in recovery with, people I've been in jail with. I mean, there's all kinds of people that are going to be there through my life.
So, what is your biggest strength, do you think, as a fighter?
My biggest strength as a fighter, I would say, talking about like physical strength, I'm pretty strong. I think that that's something I'm very strong and I'm really
Okay,
aggressive.
you look pretty strong for a female fighter. When I seen
Yeah,
your fights, I like she looks pretty cut.
yeah. Like I'm pretty strong and I'm really aggressive. I think those are two big strengths. I also think that my mentality, which has come over years of probably trauma and drama in my life, you know what I mean? I got that kind of mentality where it'll take a lot to stop. I mean, I won't stop until obviously if I was to get knocked out or something like that, you have no choice, but I don't have it in me to stop. I don't at all. So that's something else.
So you about to fight Maricel Ruelas. I'll be butchering last names all the time, especially if they're not American names. How much do you know about your opponent?
I mean, not like a whole lot. Just I know she did MMA, you know, just the basics. Like she did MMA, she had her MMA fights, pro MMA. I did watch her pro knuckle or her bare knuckle debut. So she's a southpaw. Just that, just like basic stuff, really.
Yeah, I watched her one of her MMA fights, and I went back and watched the fight. I was a little disappointed that it felt like she quit in the second round, but even though, you know, it felt like she quit, is that still a reason that like to not underestimate her going into this fight?
Oh, I never underestimate anybody, and I mean anybody. I don't ever make that mistake. I honestly, when I saw that happen and I knew I was gonna, I mean, before when I watched her fight, I wasn't even matched up
Mhm.
to fight her yet when I watched it. And I was kind
Okay.
of rooting for her, to be honest, because she was a smaller one. She took that fight and the girl was a lot bigger than her, right? And I was like, go
Yeah,
ahead, do
yeah,
your thing. And when I was watching, I thought her technique looked a lot better than the other girl. So, as not being her opponent, right, I was just kind of watching, and there were little things that I thought, and as far as what happened to her, you know, it's one of those things you never know until you're the one in there.
yeah,
Um, what was exactly going on or anything. So that doesn't really play any part in the way I feel about this fight coming up with her because again, her and I are like pretty much the same size. There's not going to be that weight difference there was with her and that other opponent. She's got a little experience now with the bare knuckle
yeah,
where I don't.
yeah,
She got to have that debut. She got to, you know, so if anything, I feel like she might have a little bit of the upper hand when it comes to that aspect. Like already being in the arena. This is
yeah.
my first time. So I think it's going to be a great fight. I really do.
And I will give her respect that she's fighting really early again already. She just fought the Sturgis card, which was a really big card. So,
Yeah.
um like a lot of these women's fights in bare knuckle, they go the distance. Are you confident in your cardio going the distance?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because it's 5 2-minute rounds, and with the pro boxing, I was doing 4 2-minute rounds. When I was fighting amateur boxing, that was 3 3-minute rounds because I was open. So yeah, I'm not worried about the conditioning aspect at all.
Yeah, because you always moving, so you seem like you got good cardio. But I notice a lot of times in these bare knuckle fights, a lot of people will expand a lot of energy in the first two rounds, and
Yeah,
the third and fourth and fifth, they don't have no energy really to with any knockout power or anything after
yeah.
those rounds sometimes.
I mean, and I've had fights. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I had a fight one time. I took a fight. A girl was bigger than me, and it was an amateur fight. And I gassed out within the first 2 rounds. But also, like looking back now, I didn't warm up properly. You know what I mean? I
Mhm.
didn't warm up properly. I like was just going ham. You know, it like looking back, there was just no control. So, you know, that's something I learned from that, how to kind of pace yourself. Even under pressure, like even if somebody's coming at me crazy, I've learned to kind of be able to shut that off a little bit and still try to control things with my footwork and stuff like that to stay relaxed. as possible, like in the moment.
Now, going into a fight, do you typically, some fighters just let their team watch the footage and just go off of what their team says, and then some fighters like to do both. What kind of fighter are you?
Oh, as far as like on my opponents and stuff.
Yeah, do you like watch footage yourself and try to game plan yourself as well on top of what your team's saying?
Oh, I see. Like, do I like to watch myself with stuff?
No, no, like some people when they watch the game plan for their opponents, they don't even watch footage on their opponents. They just go off
Gotcha.
of what their team says. And some people like to watch the footage and kind of listen to what their team says.
Yeah, I like to watch the footage and hear what my team has to say, but I don't hyper focus on the footage and I don't watch too much of it. And I also, again, have learned over experience. Like I've watched girls, that I've getting ready to fight, hitting the bag or doing pads or even in fights and stuff, and then I get in there with them and they look completely different, and it's humbling. And I'm like, okay, well, didn't know it was going to go that way. So I've learned to not give that too much weight by watching their footage.
And what do you train out of?
I train out of Rob Bradford's boxing. Um,
Is that
he
same
used to
place as
actually,
Ruben Ware?
no, he's Ruben's in Louisville. I've got to go train
Okay.
with Ruben a couple times though, which has been nice. He's helped me out a little bit at Triumph. But I'm at Rob Bradford's in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Uh,
My coach, so he was a stand-up coach for like Rich Franklin when Rich Franklin first started with the UFC. So he's
okay.
got experience being a coach on that level with the UFC and things like that. So that makes me feel confident too. This isn't his first time being on kind of a bigger platform. That's nice.
So what do you hope to prove in your BKFC debut?
I just got asked this the other day too. So
Yeah.
really I know, yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm like repeating myself.
Hey,
um
sorry, that's a ChatGPT question, so they might have got it from the same place.
That's funny. So I just really honestly all I want to prove is that I deserve to be there, that they made a good choice by asking me to come join their group. And I want to, like I was saying, I want to show that I can fight. I want to show not just that aggression and not just that toughness, but that I have the skill and IQ to really do well.
So you said you're 38. Do you think that's still a young age for bare knuckle, being there's a lot of fighters that retire from other combat sports and then come over to BKFC later?
Yeah, I've noticed that. Like a lot of the female fighters or just fighters in general, like being 38, I'm not like it's not that uncommon at all. In fact, some of the female fighters that are amazing right now, uh, Beck Rawlings, isn't she like 42 or something?
I think so. Christine Faria's up there as well.
That's what I'm saying. They're all older, and honestly, I love that because then it makes me feel like, okay, I got a couple more years. So I think that's another reason why I think this is a good switch for me.
You might have more than a couple. I mean, because depending on you as a person, how long you want to fight. I mean, you got some of the guys fighting they're like 40 years old. There's guys fighting in BKFC right now, and they still win it.
Yeah,
You know,
that's what's up, seriously. And then not in BKFC, but my girl Holly Holm. I love that woman so much. She's awesome. She's in her 40s too, and she's a pro boxer, and she's still doing good and doing amazing. So yeah, I think I'll be good. But it does seem like the BKFC, I do feel like people are a little older, which will hopefully play in my favor too.
well, it seems like it extends a fighter's shelf life too. If
Yeah,
somebody feels like they're done in boxing, you could be like Austin Trout, come over BKFC and win a belt there, and have a whole nother career. He's up there
exactly.
too. He's up there. He's getting up there in age too. So
I love watching him. He was one of the
yeah,
first ones I was watching a lot of when I got signed and stuff because he has such a big boxing background.
yeah, you could tell like he's definitely used a lot of that boxing in the bare knuckle, even though it doesn't always work for everybody coming, from boxing or UFC to bare knuckle. He's definitely benefited well. Nobody's beat him yet.
Yep, yep, he sure has.
So what has been the biggest life lesson fighting has taught you outside of the ring?
The biggest life lesson that fighting has taught me. Um, Really, the main thing I can think of right now is when I first got in. back into boxing, so I was kind of more early sober, right?
Hmm.
Um, I feel like I was like kind of sensitive, like, and I can remember coming back and having these amateur fights, and I lost, a couple fights in a row, and it was like the way it made me feel. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I don't need to feel like the biggest piece of shit right now just because I lost this fight. Like, it made me realize how much I was like I guess connecting like my self-worth to like the win or loss of that fight. And
Hmm.
the first couple times I experienced that being early in sobriety and all that, I was like, man, I need to adjust this way of thinking, so, but I'm glad that I experienced that. I'm glad I went through that. Because then it really gave me a new perspective on everything. Instead of being like, I need to win, I have to win. That's the only choice, which believe me, obviously I want to win. Come on now. I'm competitive and all that. But it's more about the experience and just being grateful to be there. And I guess the way I look at this is it's like, and it helps with my nerves too, to have that outlook of like, no matter what happens, it's a great experience and it's a great platform. It's something I'll get to look back on and be like, that was fucking awesome. So
Yeah, and bare knuckles not a sport I think people should dwell on a loss or two because everybody's gonna get a loss at some point in bare knuckle, I think. And one thing I realized is how you lose matters as well. Like if a
yeah,
fight is just so boring, that's even a double loss,
yeah.
really.
Well, yeah. And here's the thing with losing. Okay, like this is something that I need to talk about, a life lesson, right? So through my whole life, wherever I've learned the most from is taking losses in life, right? Whether it be
Mhm.
messing up with my drug addiction, all that, like everything I would lose and the things I would mess up. That's what has made me into the person I am today, like for the better, because I've learned from it all and I've tried to grow and all that. And it's the same with the fighting. Like wins are great and amazing and all that, but I've learned the most out of all my losses. So that's something to take, that I try to take with me and that was, like I said, something I had to learn early on when I got back into it.
And you said something earlier in the interview that's important is always doing something that you love. And if you're getting paid to actually do something you love, that's even like icing on the cake cherry on the top.
Oh yeah. I know, that's great. That's awesome. Seriously, yeah, to get paid and like, I got these sponsorships that are going on for my fight and all that. It's like all these people are supporting something I love to do that like brings, so much positivity to my life. It's like how much more what more can you ask for? It's a great position to be in.
And this is the first bare knuckle fight in Indiana, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so. And it's kind of
Yes.
cool. So my pro debut for boxing was in Indiana, and I love the
Okay.
commissioner, Joanna. So I know the commission from dealing with them when I went with my pro boxing debut. So I'm excited about that. I think that's a good sign for me.
Yeah, so I mean, you basically, after this fight, you'll be submitting a history of helping, break bare knuckle into Indiana, because there's a
Yeah,
lot of states that still ain't got it. North Carolina, we ain't got it yet, and I want it so bad out here, but we so funny with passing laws.
yeah.
All right, so I got a couple more questions before I let you go and do your shout outs. Do you feel like female fighters get enough respect or credit they deserve?
Um, yeah. I mean, I think they do. I think it's come a long way. Big time. And just even with boxing, like look at the most valuable the MVP promotions that Tyler Paul and stuff or I'm sorry, Jake Paul and stuff is doing.
Mhm.
Um and he signed all those women. I mean, that's huge. With the BKFC stuff, they got the Queen of Violence fight that's getting ready to come up
Yeah.
with the women, just like they got the King of Violence. So and that's going to be an amazing fight. So I mean, I think so. I
Yeah, who
do.
you got in that fight? The Queen of Violence.
Gosh, I don't even know. I mean, I really don't. I mean, because Borga is obviously bigger, but Ferreira, I mean, if you watch her, like
She's more
she had
experienced.
those,
Yeah.
yeah, and when you watch her highlights, like I watched one of her highlight thing, and man, she is just a killer. She just comes at you, and I just feel like she's probably really hard to deal with. Very, very hard to deal with and very hard to navigate around. So I think it's gonna be a great fight. I guess I'm thinking maybe Christina.
Christine Faria. I mean, Christine
Christina, yeah.
Faria she's like 10-1. She's got a lot of experience. And one thing I've noticed about her is a lot of female fighters in BKFC, they got other things going on the side, like OnlyFans and stuff like that. Christine Faria, her whole life is just fighting, training to fight and fighting,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I
So
think so. I mean, but Borga, she may do great. You know,
she's
I don't.
got
It's not.
power. Yeah, she got
That's what I'm saying.
power.
Because when I watched her, when she had that last fight against that girl that was a pro boxer, and she just threw straight
Hannah,
two straight rights, just right
yeah.
down the beautiful. You know, beautiful technique, power, all that. So I don't know. I think it could go either way, but Ferreira definitely. I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll
And
see.
being the first woman to knock somebody out in a professional bare knuckle fight definitely sets a statement, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for
It's
sure.
exciting. I mean, either if Christine Faria wins, I mean, she pretty much cements her career. I mean, I don't know how much left she's got. She's getting up there, and for Borga, it changes everything in bare knuckle
Yeah,
boxing for
it's a good
women.
point. Yeah.
She'll be like the dominant force. But there's not too many women in her weight class. That's why she kind of has to come down if she, to get any competition, because most of the women are your weight class or the straw weight, you know.
Yeah.
Um, so I got one more. What message would you give fans, especially women who want to follow in your footsteps?
Um, Say that again. What?
What message would you give fans, especially women who want to follow into your footsteps?
Just that if there's anything that you know you want to do or any goals you have, or there's really nothing that is like that you can't accomplish if you work hard and just keep pushing forward and just keep trying.
Mhm.
Um, and that'd be really it, probably.
So before we let you go, is there any shout outs you like to do? Any sponsors or shout out to your team that helps you train?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out just to my gym, Rob Bradford's. I want to give a shout out to my coach, Rob Bradford, and then, all my friends and stuff and all the support and my sponsors, all of them. I usually make those the social media posts for all that because I have quite a few sponsors. So I'm super grateful for all that and for anybody that supports me.
Well, I can't wait. We are 3 weeks out, 2 weeks
Yep.
after the this fight, so it's gonna be exciting. I typically root for people I interview. I know eventually that's gonna get me in trouble because I'm gonna end up interviewing somebody. It's gonna be fighting somebody else, but
Oh, shoot. Well, you can root for me. Go ahead, root for me.
yeah,
All about
yeah.
that.
We need more women fights anyway. Sometimes they have cards. They don't have a single woman's
I
fight on
know.
there.
Yeah, I know. I wish, yeah, and it'd be cooler that even if they could have like two women fights per card, that would be awesome. If they
That's
could
what I
get,
was thinking too. It'd be nice to y'all, a couple more because some of the guys' fights be boring as hell too. Like in the women's fights, usually go the distance, so you usually could get a good bloody, bruised up fight. Sometimes the guys, man, they'll get hit one time and just quit.
yeah,
I see it all the time at bare knuckle, man. I don't, I mean, like you said, you don't know until you in there. I ain't no bare knuckle fighter, but from a fan perspective, you don't want to see. Sometimes you see three back to back fights and the guys done quit. It's like, yo, man, what y'all even doing here?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time out. And your manager had hit me up and then asked me about the interview. Anytime you want to come back on, please do. I'm up for interviewing all the fighters.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you having me on here. And then after my fight, maybe I'll have to pop back on so I can tell you how
Okay.
awesome it was and how great I did, and we can talk about all that good stuff.
And your next opponents, hopefully.
Yes, yes, for sure.
Will you enjoy your night?
All right. Thanks. You have a good night too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Well, there you have it. Bare knuckle Brooke Evans. She will be fighting 3 weeks from now, the Hammond, Indiana card, which is the main event is Bryce Henry versus Jake Lindsey. I'll give you a little quick rundown of that. We got Cameron Van Camp versus Derek Finley. Sean Schultz and versus Gabriel Moda. Maricel Ruelas versus Brooke Evans. They don't got Brooke's picture up there yet, man. Y'all got come on, BKFC, y'all slacking. So that's actually going to be um that's going to be close to the featured fight. Adam Brady versus Darren Whitney. Travis Smith versus Thomas Angeloff. Uh, Nate Manis versus Tyler Rookie Randall. That should be an interesting one. Kerry Caprio versus Octavian Turner. Boban Simic versus Damian Black. And I saw this Boban cat and on the Bare Knuckle show with Brian Sosha and the gang. Dude got some huge hands. Huge hands. Something about he eating like raw meat or something like that. Yo, I'm definitely interested to see what this Boban Simic cat has to offer. And Jorge Gonzalez, Roland versus Caleb Gal, Cody Sheave versus Carlos Yanez. So that's the card. Of course, it's fight week this week. October 4th, you got the Jersey card, BKC 82, Perry versus Stevens. Can't wait to see that. Hopefully, Stevens whoops Mike Perry's ass. Then, of course, you got Christine Faria versus Jessica Borges, the co-main event. And the feature fight is Frankie Edgar versus Jimmy Rivera. Of course, you got Carl Robertson versus, I'm not even going to pronounce the guy's name because I'm going to get it wrong. And a few other fights as well. I know the fight with Johnny Cannoli, Garbarino got canceled, it looked like, because he broke his ankle. I saw an interview with that where he broke his ankle, so he won't be fighting. Damn, I think they had 2 fights that are dropped off of this card now. How many fights is there now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's only 8 fights now. Oh, okay. There's my bad. There's the free fights as well. So they got 11 fights. But that sucks. The Johnny Cannoli, the Garbarino fight is canceled. Definitely want to see that. Appreciate y'all tuning in on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Shouts out to my guy, Just in Time Nola. Go check him out. Friend of the Dizzle, part of the Dizzle family. One Tough Boxer, appreciate you. Robert and Taylor, Too Swift, David Dude. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. Don't forget the audio version will be downloaded and uploaded to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, much, much more. Also, the video will be downloaded, uploaded to Rumble and Millions.co. If you are a dog lover, you like Pits, Dobermans, Rottweilers, anything of that nature, go to Millions.co, look up the Paul Pickett podcast, and I got merch on there as well. Can't wait. I gotta have my guy Redneck Mandel back up on here. I ain't had him on here in a while. I'm gonna try to have him on here after this fight. I know he'll probably be up there. Shit talk Mike Perry. And be begging for that. BKFC Fighter Services, appreciate you tuning in. But make sure y'all tune in 3 weeks to the BKFC Fight Night Hammond. Henry versus Lindsay, and you'll see Brooke Evans on there making her BKFC debut, moving in from boxing and MMA into bare knuckle fighting. As she says, she has a 3-fight deal, so she should be here for at least a few fights. But appreciate y'all tuning in. We're about to wrap it up. Hit y'all with the outro. Peace, and I'm out.